Surah Al-Isra leads to the Surah Al-Kahf, which we finished today. That is a very beautiful surah. Inshallah, I'll finish with that. And it contains, just to give you a good overview, it contains five stories about the story of the youth of the cave at the beginning, the story of the two gardeners, the story of Adam alayhi salam, the story of Sayyidina Musa and the guide, and the story of the Qarnayn. So each of these stories represents one of the stations on your way to God. Each one of them. Each one of them, so you have to pass each one of these stations. So first one, which is the story of the youth of the cave, is about dying and coming back to life. So the cave represents a place of regeneration, like a womb where you are born again, where you are conceived and born again. So that's the first story. That's the first step in your spiritual journey. So we call that tawbah, to turn back to God, to return back to God, and start afresh. So that's what the youth of the cave represent, their story represent in the chapter. So resurrection, rebirth, being born again. And once that is accomplished, when you have finished that stage, then the story of the gardeners is about what we call tazkiyatun nafs, to purify your soul. That's the next thing. Even if you are born spiritually, it's another tazkiyatun nafs. Your soul might still be attached to the 7 attachments that are mentioned in Surah Al Imran. Attachment to spouses, to children, to gold, to silver, to horses, to land, to cattle. These are the 7 natural attachments. So that's the second story. It's about that. Because we know the gardener, one of the gardeners who had a better garden outwardly than the other, was boasting to the other, I have more money than you, I have more children than you, I have more followers than you. So, أكثر منك مالا وأعز نفرا. So that's the theme of the second station on the way, to detach. To detach yourself from this so that you can grow, because otherwise you will not grow. Your soul will be stunted. If you purify your soul, it is going to flourish, grow. It's like weeds, they choke, because once you are newly born, you're just like a young shoot, a young tree that just came out of the ground. So you have to remove all the weeds around. That's what tazkiyatun nafs is about. Once you've done that, then it's going to grow. So that's the second story. Then the story of Adam and Pharaoh. That's about what they call al-ghurur, being deceived, being deluded. It's about delusion, because that's when, as we said earlier, Iblis envied Adam for, being given this privileged life and being put in this garden, and he wanted him out of there. So what did he do? Was to he deceived him. He deluded him. And he gave him false hope in something that's not real. So they call ghurur. لا يغرنكم بالله الغرور. So he said to Adam, your Lord prevented you from eating this tree, because if you did, then you will have a kingdom that will never perish, and you will be like an angel, and you will never die. So Allah says, فَدَلَّاهُمَا بِغُرُورٍ. So he deceived them. So a believer should be very alert. Don't be duped. Don't be hoodwinked like this way. So Adam fell for his deception. He ate from the tree and he lost everything. فَأَزَلَّهُمَا الشَّيْطَانُ مِمَّا كَانَ فِيهِ. So he made them go out of their blessing. So how many times? So yeah, if Allah give you something good, keep it. We spoke about yesterday quite a bit about that hold on to what God has given you. And don't listen to all this propaganda. There's something better there, there's this bad, this no. What you have, hold on to that. And God will make that better and increase it for you, if you take good care of it, whatever that may be. Adam has this garden where there's no hunger, there's no thirst, there's no need for shelter, no need for clothing, everything. So what is there? What more is there then? There's nothing more. It's just an illusion now. If you think there's more than that, illusion. So there's nothing more. You have everything. And the hadith Prophet ﷺ says that if every day when you get up, من أصبح محافظا في جسمه آمنا في سربه وعنده قوت يومه, every day in the morning when you get up that you're healthy, your body is healthy, and you feel safe, there's no threat to your life, there's no danger pending over your head, and you have food also for the day, just for the day. I mean that he said God has given you the whole world. Yeah. That day you have the whole world. I don't know tomorrow. But that day, you are as good as any king or any rich man. That's all they can do. They can eat only one plate a day. They can only sleep in one bed. So these extras don't matter. Just extras. You don't need it. Yeah, but those extras kind of sometimes, beguiles us. So if you have this, God has given you the whole world that day. You have food for that day. Your body is healthy. So it's very important. You're healthy. And there's no threat, there's no danger in your path. So Adam has all this, so Satan wants him to look for something that is more than that's not there. So, but they lost everything because of that. So that is the second story is about. So tazkiyatun nafs, then to have qana'ah, to hold onto what you have, God has given you with all your might. Don't let anything take it away from you. What God gave you. Then the next story to that is the story of Sayyidina Musa and the guide. That story also is a very profound story. So the beginning of the story is that Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, one day he gave a speech to his congregation, his community. That's what is in Bukhari. It was a very moving, touching sermon. At the end of the sermon, so someone came up to him, he said, "Is there anyone as knowledgeable as you?" He said, "No." Meaning on the earth. وَلَمْ يَسْتَثِنْ, and then we'll make istisna and say, inshallah, or something. So God said to him that, no, I have a servant of mine who has knowledge that you don't have. I said, Allah, then I want to meet him. I want to see him and learn from him. Because Musa is very humble. It's a prophet and a messenger, but he still wants to know what somebody else knows. So Al-Kayyis Man zada ilma ghayrihi ila ilmihi. And the wise man is one who adds other people's knowledge to his knowledge. Then, anyway, so God said, I said to God, how will I find him? God said, take a fish in a basket with you. Wherever you lose the fish, you will meet him there. That's what we decided today. So he went on this journey, was determined to find the person, no matter how long it takes. So they traveled for long, and they rested somewhere on the way. And while they were resting, his companion, or his servant, Joshua, noticed that the fish began to move and jump out. There is a trail of water came and then went up and took the fish away. But when Sayyidina Musa woke up, he forgot to tell him. So they continued their journey. After a long time, Sayyidina Musa said, I think we are hungry now, we just have to eat our fish now. Yeah. Then that's just when he said, oh, I forgot to tell you that the fish had jumped out. He said, that's what we are looking for. Why did the fish jump out? Let's go back. So they traced their steps back to the rock where they slept. And they found somebody there who was sitting, and he has put he covered his face with the cloth from his face to his toe. So when they reached, Sayyidina Musa says, Assalamu alaikum. And the man said, Anna bihadha al-ard salam. Who's saying Assalamu alaikum in this earth? Who are you? Still his face is covered with the cloth. He said, Musa. And the man said, Musa Bani Israel? Musa of Bani Israel? He said, yes. He said, Musa of Bani Israel? He said, yes. He said, أما كان لك شغل فيما أنت فيه? Were you not busy enough with what you are doing with your people to come all the way here? He said, no, I wish to learn from you. He said, God gave you a knowledge that He didn't give me. He gave me a knowledge that He didn't give you. And my knowledge and yours don't take from the knowledge of God, not even as much as a bird that dips its beak in the ocean and take it out. And God knows knowledge. It's infinite. Anyway, he said, my condition, if you follow me, then you have to obey my condition, which is don't ask me questions. So whatever I do, don't object. And I, on my own, will explain my acts, why I did what I did. Sayyidina Musa agreed on that condition. So then on that base they went on their journey. So when the first thing they had to cross the water, and when they came to, they took a ferry, they took a ship, a boat, to cross the water. And when they went halfway in the water, then that guide, whose name is Al-Khidr, Prophet ﷺ said they call him Khidr because جلس على فروة يابسة فاهتز تحته قدرا. So that Khadr means some green man. Because when he said anywhere, if it's all dry grass, it all turns green, fresh. Anyway, so that man he took an axe and was hitting the floor of the ship, which alarmed, of course, Sayyidina Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, and he was not able to control. He objected. He said, "What are you doing? We're going to sink the ship with everyone." But the man said, "I told you not to object." He said, "Okay, no, let this pass." I forgot. He said, "Okay, let this pass." And they continued on their journey. And next thing, they met a young boy. And this Khidr again, he was playing with other boys. He took the boy and he held him and then took a knife, and Sayyidina Musa is watching. He was, of course, even more more angry this time than before. I said, "You're going to kill an innocent boy that has done no sin?" He said to him that, "I told you not to object." He said, "Okay, if I object one more time, you can dismiss me." He said. Then they went on, and they came to a town, and they're very tired now and hungry. And they asked people to give them hospitality, give them shelter or food. But the people were not good people, were not generous people, not kind. They refused. So they went and sat down because they are tired on a tree. And as they sit down on a tree, the guide saw in front of them there's a wall that was leaning to fall in. So the guide didn't say anything. He got up and then fixed it. He doesn't know who is the owner, nothing. But something that just do a good thing wherever. Even the people who have been unkind to you, it doesn't matter. If you can do something good, you should do something good. So Sayyidina Musa, again, this time, he kind of said, "Law shita." It wasn't a direct objection, but it is an objection. If you want, you can ask them to pay us for your service. So he said, "This is the end between us." The Prophet ﷺ said, I wish Musa could be more patient so that we can learn more from their stories and love more episodes in the story was. So the story, the wisdom of the story is, this is your fourth level now. You on your path is to think, to have. It's a matter of perception. You have a perception. There are two kinds of perceptions. Perception that sees you what is good. Perception that shows you what is bad. So human beings have these two eyes, those two sides. Now, it depends which one goes first. That determines your outlook generally on everything. Do you see good first and then see bad? Second. Or do you see bad first and then see good second? So it's just a matter of perception. So that's one of the themes of the story. Think well first before you think otherwise. Think well first. That's your first reaction should be to think positively about anything. Even that means that somebody's cracking the ship. So think, well, maybe there's something good. Exactly. Yeah. So that was the kind of the main theme of the story. There are many other side themes, but this is the major theme. So the perception of, Allah said, Allahumma arina al-haqqa haqqan. First, Allah shows the truth as truth, and then the falsehood after, as falsehood. But seeing the falsehood first before the truth, this is a complete and opposite perception of life, outlook. So that is a perception of kufr. Those who see wrong first and then right after. That's the path of kufr. That path will lead you to the fire. Those who see good first and then after bad. Because yes, you have to see bad too as well. So these are the two perceptions. So you have to develop that. قال يا قوم لم تستعجلون بالسيئة قبل الحسنة سيئة الحسنة لا. So you see the hasana first, then you see the sayyah. Sayyah, you should see that as well. You should have both perceptions. One perception shows you what is good, one shows you what is not good. But always you think your first perception should be the vision of good. Good. That is the norm in existence. I mean, everything, the norm is goodness. God created everything good. So evil is contingent. That means incidental. That just happened. But it's not the norm. No. So, yeah. So you can't, if you reverse that, then that's a problem. Yeah, that's kind of the major theme of the story. And then the last one, which is the story of Dhul-Qarnayn, which is now the actual stage whereby the human being is a Khalifa now. That's what the story is. It's a Khalifa now, as Dhul-Qarnayn was in this story. And he's exercising Khilafah, he's traveling around the world. And when he went in the West, he established justice. When he came to the middle, he established defense. So build a wall that defends people against invasions and things. So anyway, the way a Khalifa should be like. Justice, establish justice. And when he went to Matla' Shams, those people that he found there, they're good people. So they just need encouragement. They don't need any justice or anything. They are good people already by nature. They are people who are enlightened. So this is the kind of the theme of the last and the final story in Surah Al-Kahf. So you begin your journey from the cave, which is a narrow, tiny place, and then you end up traveling the entire universe. But these are the stages that you go through to reach that level of being a universal man. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لنفسي ولكم